Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the FINNY D Show. Today I'll be joined by a guest, which is good because I'm going to cover some subject matter that sort of needs a secondary input, considering this person is from a different state. I'm from Victoria, they're from Queensland. Today, well, to begin with, I'd like to start with the topic of TV shows. Growing up, the morning TV shows. I don't know if it was different in Queensland, so I guess we'll start with that. Hello, esteemed guest.
Hi.
So I guess we'll begin with, what did you watch in the mornings before school? What were the TV shows that were on?
I definitely remember Pokemon.
Pokemon?
Mm-hmm. My brain's a bit fuzzy. I remember that it was the Toaster TV channel.
Yes.
And there'd be a bunch of but...
Toasted TV had Yu-Gi-Oh!, Dragon Ball Z.
I'm just trying to remember because I spent a lot of time trying to ditch school so I could sit at home and watch the good show.
Yes. Oh, so the shows that were on
just that little bit beginning? Later.
Yeah.
But because I had to travel to get to school as well.
How far did you have to travel?
Caught a bus and it was only 15 minutes. You can walk there easily.
Okay, so what, you had to leave half an hour before school to get to school on time? Okay.
Sometimes we get there earlier and do the morning tea, like the World Cup breakfast thingy.
Okay, what, the Breakfast Club? Yeah.
But it was the morning tea breakfast club.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
It was a special fundraiser one.
And that was every morning? Mm-hmm. Every morning all year?
They'd have them usually, yeah.
That's fucking sick. We didn't have any of that shit. So, did you start school at 9 in the morning? Typical school start times?
Yeah, so it'd be 9 and 3. So when I moved down to Victoria, I had no idea why some schools started at 9:15 and ended up at 3:15. I was like, what?
Yeah, so that was different to you. That wasn't... Okay.
To me, I was like, this is weird. Why does school start like this?
Yeah. Strange. Okay. Yeah, well...
It's the same as... Sorry to interrupt, but
no, you're fine.
School year levels. And grades. We say grades and you guys say year levels.
Yeah.
And we went up to year 7 and then we go 8 to 12.
So year 7 was primary school still? Mm-hmm. And then
it would be
year
grade
8.
1 to 7 and then high school 8 to 12.
Interesting. Okay. And you would start at a different time too? So yeah. I think Toasted TV would end at 8:30. So if you got up at a certain time, you could catch the 3 TV shows, I think it was.
Yeah.
Which was, I think there was one for the chicks. It was Sailor Moon, definitely. Sailor Moon was one of them for a bit.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon, definitely. Pokemon when I was a lot younger. But I'm blurring on the storylines. I never really understood. See, Toasted TV, they always threw you in to, if I can remember correctly, random episodes of TV shows. So you never really got the chronological storyline of a TV show. You would just sort of
A lot of Pokemon as a kid, I remember just watching and seeing the cat.
Meowth.
Yeah, Meowth with the 2
Team Rocket.
Yeah, Team Rocket and them always flying away in their rocket thing.
Yeah, blasting off again.
They'd always just be causing destruction the whole way through.
Yeah, I think they were the shittest cunts.
Mm-hmm. They
that
were very
TV show.
annoying.
That was so annoying. Yeah. Well, now that I'm an adult and we have Crunchyroll, we can actually overview how many episodes there actually are of Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
It is fucking insane. There is no way that we could have watched that as children.
No.
There's absolutely no way. And
my brain's a bit muffled on where everything, where all my shows were at. I remember coming home and Arthur would be on.
Arthur. Yep. So now we're going to afternoon TV shows. Yeah. What was cool is I got the second round of that because my brother, being 6 years younger than me, I got to see the shows that he was fascinated and infatuated by. And the drop in quality. I mean, look, there are a couple of good TV shows for a little kid back then. Bear in a Big Blue House.
That was my childhood.
Do you remember Bottle Top Bill?
Oh, fucking
And his
no.
best friend
My
Hook.
brother, 17, so 11 years difference,
Yeah,
which is insane.
it is pretty big.
God damn. I got to go back and watch some shit from my childhood, but totally changed.
Yeah.
Like Bob the Builder, Bananas in Pajamas, none of it. It's like baby-proofed.
Yeah,
It's
all
freaking
the
cartoon
animations
style.
have changed, yeah.
And their excuse was it's too scary for kids. Like,
Was it? Really?
we lived with that as kids. What does that make us for having to deal with that? Like play school?
It makes us better conditioned? No, I don't know.
It helped us be tougher.
When you look at... See, I don't know, like, I haven't watched free TV programming in that many years.
It's been at least 8.
I'm not sure if that shit even exists anymore. It probably does.
But it's probably way more scarier for us to look back at now.
If we watch Bananas in Pajamas now, like the 90s Bananas in Pajamas, I think we would get a little bit of an uncanny valley.
I already got cringed out watching the one that I was watching with my brother when he was young. Now he's 17.
Yeah.
Like, that, I was already like, what have they done?
See, I used to love, like, Bob the Builder's, like, claymation and shit.
That was what made it, and now they've cartooned it.
That wasn't even my generation. Like, Bob the Builder came out when I was, like, 6 or 7.
I loved
But,
it.
like,
It was such a good
my
show.
brother was born, and then, you know, Mum had bought my brother all the DVD, like,
Yeah.
it was videos and DVDs back then. Of
Mostly
Bob the Builder.
videos, I feel.
Yeah.
But with your brother's age, maybe some DVDs.
There was some definite DVDs there.
The same with my brother. It was more DVDs and videos.
Well, Mum had actually gotten him the greatest hits CD of Bear in a Big Blue House. So all of like the there was like I remember there was
That's so
two
cool.
there was 2 mice or 2 rats.
Yeah.
And
they sing to each other.
Yeah, they would
and, like,
sing.
sway together. It's cute.
There was a soundtrack to that, and it was fucking annoying hearing that just play throughout the house.
All the time, yes. It would get annoying.
And it was overplayed. You know how kids get fascinated by a song, and then it's just played to death.
It's a bit sentimental because of my great grandma.
Yeah.
That's how we learnt it. And whenever it come on, she would like get all giddy and start singing it with us. And
Yeah. What, the
Mum would
Moon
always
song?
say, it's great grandma's favourite song. And yeah, we'd always like be fascinated and look at the bear looking out at the moon and the moon talking back to him. And I was like, oh,
See, that was pretty iconic, that TV show,
it
I
was
guess.
beautiful.
It wasn't from my time, but I still had I still could appreciate what that show was doing. But growing up, especially in the younger years, prep 1, 2, even grade 3, it was Dragon Ball Z. It was balls to the wall anime.
Do you remember that when the toaster TV people changed?
Well, I grew up with Cheese TV.
Cheese TV.
I had Cheese TV.
So maybe Toasted's a Queensland thing.
No, Toasted TV was here as well.
Or maybe I just wasn't around when it was cheesy.
There was a different rendition of it later on because there was the whole, like, it was like a kids club thing. It was like they would say, send in your drawings or send in something, and then they would announce a winner at the end of the week, and they would like shift the camera over to like prizes.
Yeah, it became very catalogy to me, I felt.
It was always catalogy.
But extra.
Yeah, there was lots of competitions to enter, lots of feedback, lots of kids writing in and then them reading out the comments. It was sort of like, it was pretty fucking cool. What I can remember of it was pretty awesome. So we've covered the morning TV shows now. I think we should talk about some of the afternoon, because it unlocks a whole new set of TV shows. When I would come home from school, you had your afternoon kids TV programming.
Oh, and it was totally different genre. It
Yes.
wasn't little kid genre.
It was sort of like half grown up-ish.
Yeah, more adulty.
Yeah, but as I got older, it became more teenage, like it became more grown up.
Yeah.
Like, see, when I would stay home from school sick, bullshit like That's So Raven and shit would come on.
Mm-hmm. And then middle, like 12 o'clock, it'd be like, no, 11:30, it'd be like Love Boat and then Judge Judy and all that shit.
Oh my God, yeah. And fucking, not Days of Our
Lives. There'd be Neighbours, like day before episodes at some point.
Reruns,
too.
Yeah. And do you remember getting good at reading a TV guide? Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I got taught how to read that shit.
Be like, Mum, where's that thing? Show me how to see what's on today.
Yep. And staying home from school, like you would get... So after the morning kids TV shows, you would get sort of grown up a bit, and then it was either The Bold and the Beautiful.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah, and look, if I was at Nan's and, you know, during the holidays and shit like that, she would just keep, like, ABC was the channel that Nan would stay on. That was most of the time, and you couldn't change it. As a little kid, you had no fucking control over what channel goes where. So you would just sit there and deal with what was on. When that bitch would watch The Bold and the Beautiful, I would watch her face light up like Christmas. Every day. She would sing the music. Like soap operas were her thing. She loved the drama. She would soak it all in. Maybe it's a middle-aged woman thing. I'm not too sure.
I see.
I get it with you. You do watch a lot of...
But that's I don't know if it's just too old for my age, but I remember watching that when I was little. I was forced to watch it with Mum and
but
stuff.
You almost watch age-appropriate soap operas these days. There are a lot of shows that
Drama series, yes.
Yeah, where it's like, oh my God, this guy fucked this chick, and now this chick's angry at this person. Now there's pandemonium in the workplace, and now there's people plotting against this guy, and now this guy dies, and everyone's sad. It's very like
It's just a dramatized lifestyle, I guess, but...
Is it something that you... Like,
it's not something that I enjoy the whole lot of. Like, I don't like all that drama. I like the interesting parts of, like...
What gravitates
learning shit in the show.
Yes. Okay. So
like, because it's based in a hospital, the one that I've been watching
Grey's Anatomy.
Recently. Yes. I think that... Like, I know that I've learned so much more about shit that I didn't know before. Like you were saying about concussions in the past.
Yeah.
And how one hit can, you know, a few weeks later you can be fucked.
Completely alter your life.
I knew that from that show. So many stuff I've learned just from watching that. I know it's not all true and, like, you know.
But I think they do have to be semi-accurate because it is a show about hospitals. They're not going to bust out... bullshit diagnoses and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm sure some of it's based on real stories that have happened. It's just that the drama side, they extra that, and I choose to just kind of zone that part out and just be interested in all of the other things.
So you, in terms of the medical practice side of the show, which I'm sure there's a bit of, but it leans more into the employees of the workplace and their comings and goings. And look, from what I've seen of Grey's Anatomy, if there was a hospital that was operating that way, with that much doggery and that much sort of infighting and the surgeons all fucking each other and just, it would be such a dysfunctional workplace. I don't think any operations would be happening.
That's why I choose to be like, okay, yeah, that's totally complete bullshit. Like, that would never happen in a real workplace.
Yeah.
But then I go on to, like, I choose to ignore certain things because some shows have gotten worse throughout time.
Yeah.
Like, they were good, and then all of a sudden they're bringing in this drama, and I'm just like, nope, ignore that bit because I still find sentimentalness in it because I watched that stuff as a child on TV all the time with Mum and my sister, and my little brother was only like a little baby.
Yeah, yep.
But I seen Mum watching all of these shows, and I wondered what the interest was, and I found my own comfort and interest in it. It helps with my anxiety and stuff, but yeah.
So getting to know certain characters.
But also, like, seeing a lifestyle. I like to see how people live their lifestyles, even if it's not 100% true. Like, it's cool to see how it would be in a workplace like that because I know that is true. They live for their nursing.
Yeah.
When Grandma was in hospital doing rehab and stuff, she would talk all about the time about girls who come in to do training.
Yeah.
And they would talk about how many hours they're doing, how they're not having any breaks, and it's also they're not getting paid. They're just
unpaid interns. Yeah, it's pretty commonly known thing in the workplace where you work that many fucking hours, you bust your ass. What, they can't even give you an allowance for food, which is really strange. How are you supposed to feed yourself, you know? And if you don't have parents or a stable house that you can live in, how the fuck are you even supposed to do that job?
And you study, I think, for about 3 or so years just in doctor's certificates, and then you have to go in and do proper interning, and then you become a surgeon if you were to do that.
Look, I understand, you have to have a pretty high hit rate. You know, you don't want to go into the operating theatre and just, it's 50-50. You want to have a lot more of a percentage of, your hit rate. What's it called? Mortality rate? Whatever it is.
Yeah.
You want to go in there and you want the person to come out and wake up and see their family again.
Exactly.
But at the same time, they set the bar so high, it's almost seems like it's intimidating for the faint of heart.
Yeah.
Maybe some people are a little bit on the non-confident side. Maybe it's something that they are considering, but they're not confident enough to go into. And that just wipes out a whole demographic of people that were maybe and ahhing the medical industry. But because that bar is set impossibly high, you've just lost so many people that could have, would have, and had that job.
It's always interested me.
Is that just nursing, by the way?
Just the medical side of things.
Yeah, but that 4 years being with doctors and stuff like that, is that just the nursing side of things?
Depends on what you do. Some of them, I guess, take longer because you have to do other things as well.
Yeah.
But but all of this medical stuff has also always piqued my interest because of my sister and her diabetes and eating disorders and being in hospital for months on end. And then when she was pregnant again, months on end. We would go to the hospital all the time to go see her. I remember seeing this cool little purple machine at one of the Bundaberg hospitals.
Yeah.
I think it was the Bundaberg Base Hospital up in Queensland. And it was just this cool little kids one machine that was circle, and my sister was able to wheel it in her room and get to play any game on it.
Yep.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. But then I wouldn't see the side of her actually being not great.
Yeah.
It got to the point that she had Starlight Foundation come around. And
seriously?
Yeah. They came in and were like, hey, would you you're in here, are you all right? Would you like a present or something? Wow. And they gave her the choice between two things and she picked one. But yeah, they were walking around and checking on everyone too. So
that's pretty, that's pretty fucking heavy.
Always seeing that shit, it makes me wonder how it is being on that side.
Yep. Yep. And then watching that show sort of reinforces the
it just shows a side that we never get to see, it's different. It's interesting. I get the drama side of it. Like I said, I choose to just ignore that.
And coming back to what was on TV when we were younger, that was on TV when we were younger. Grey's Anatomy.
Home and Away. Neighbours. What was that army one? MASH, yes. My pop was na 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 na.
So MASH, Everybody Loves Raymond. My parents were hey?
Was Everybody Loves Raymond before MASH?
I'm not sure actually. I just remember the little I
remember being
and then remember when Ray Romano looks out the window, they're coming. And, and they're coming across the road.
Slow motion, trying to get to the door to stop.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that
it brings back some fucking memories.
Damn.
Everybody Loves Raymond. Neighbours was. My parents were infatuated with Neighbours when I was younger.
Yes.
To almost at nauseum. Every single night, we would sit down. One TV in the house at this time. There was another TV, but it was in their room, not mine. Mm-hmm. And we would sit down and watch Neighbours. I knew Toadie and Blair and fucking Felicity
Sally.
And I think, Sally, Paul Robinson, Susan and
Oh
Carl.
my god, Paul is still in it. I seen an ad for it.
I think they're done now.
No, they brought it back. So they finished it and then they brought it back.
Of course they brought it back. That money was too fucking sweet.
Yeah, I think they realised they needed more.
Ugh, Jesus. And Paul Robinson was an old cunt when he came back.
He was old when I was little.
Yeah,
and
because
he's like insane.
he was like an 80s character. Because like they used to do callbacks to Neighbours. Because like Ramsay Street was like, you know, they'd always show the little sign saying Ramsay Street. And sometimes they would
pulling
do
into the street.
Yeah. And they would do callbacks. Oh, I remember Harold and fucking
Oh, that was
what
so
was
sad.
Harold's mate's name? The other old cunt?
I forgot, but Harold. Oh,
Yeah, Harold and
what a little darling. I think he died. I wonder how.
oh, I don't want to know that.
Well, I'm saying.
Poor Harold. I guess he was old as shit when we were kids.
Yeah, dude.
And that was like good 20 something years ago now. Okay. Yeah. That sort of checks out. Poor Harold.
I know.
Fuck. I'm trying. Dude, what was that other old man's name? Harold and, shit. Anyway. There was so many storyline twists in that TV show. Just me being forced and subjected to watching an Aussie drama show for years on end, just de facto knowing every single character, their character arcs, who died in their family, the reason why they're torn up. And, yeah, I don't remember when we stopped watching that, but it was probably soon after.
Oh, Lynn Scully.
Lynn. Yeah, what was the other old man's name, though, since you're on that page
Harold
now?
Bishop.
Yeah, Harold, and who was the other? There's another old guy.
Jim Robinson.
Nah, not Jim.
Oh my god, he's from a show I watched.
Who's the other old
Russell
man?
Crowe was in it.
Russell Crowe was in Neighbours?
Kenny Larkin.
Okay. Well, with it.
Lou Carpenter.
Lou.
Oh, look at his face.
Show
That
me.
is him.
Hang on. Yeah, fucking Lou, dude. Lou.
And then Carl Kennedy.
Wow. Toadie. Remember fucking...
Aiden Foster was in it.
Who's that?
Look.
Bob Morley. Dude, the cunt from the 100.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes.
What a spin. Dude, go... Wait, what?
Oh.
Who was he?
He was
What the fuck?
Aiden Foster in it. So Bob
Yeah.
Morley played Aiden Foster.
Yeah, but from what time? Was it when we were kids? Dude, what a trip, man.
No idea.
That's weird. Well, see, that was nighttime TV for us. Mm-hmm. Do you remember Dance Academy?
Yes, of course.
H2O, Just Add Water.
That was one of my loved shows, and I think I would always come home from school once it was like halfway through, and I'd be so upset.
There was another show that was really obscure to me. It was like Tribes or something. It was like a show that was set in like the future. It was sort of like Fallout-y. Not really, but like there was like a bunch of Mad Max style people.
I don't remember that one, but
There was that. There was.
do you remember the Alien one where there's a bunch of students who go like
In the
camping
bush?
in the bush, and
Yes.
then they're like one of them gets that weird thing on their eye.
I didn't remember it being Alien, but I do remember that.
It was weird.
There was-
They
and there
thought
was
it
an
was
adult.
like
There was-
UFO-ish kind of style thing.
Yeah.
They went down a weird path, and then there was like parallel universes and shit.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
There's a few parallel universe shows actually.
Yeah, I do remember that one distinctly.
Oh,
I don't-
Blue Water High. That might have been a Queensland.
That
one.
name rings a bell. I don't remember the show at all, but I do remember
about
the
a
name.
whole group of camp surfers who come together in a and stay in this place and go to school.
Actually, I do
there.
remember that. I did watch a few episodes
That
of
was
that.
a crazy thing because I was a Queenslander. It's like
Yeah, all
It was
about
a
the ocean,
yeah.
the beach. Yeah,
it was very highly watched up there,
Wow, interesting. Yeah, no, I do remember that show
like
actually.
HGO. Yeah,
Of course, the Saddle Club, which I didn't give a fuck
Teletubbies.
about.
I loved the Saddle Club, Horse Girl. I tried to re-watch it and I was like, yeah, it's kind of crap, but I was a kid and in love with horses.
Yeah.
Some stuff you like just because you enjoy.
You brought up Teletubbies, which I was actually when you were talking about Grey's Anatomy. It was on the tip of my tongue. I did want to.
I watched it when I was about 13 again up in Queensland.
Yep.
When there was the cyclones up there.
Yep.
And I'd gone over to the girl next door's house and we sat there and watched it and we're like, what the fuck is this? Like,
Really?
repeated the same shit. That belly would not play something different. It was the exact same repeated bullshit.
It only played it twice.
Had the sun and the moon and then
Yeah.
like them running around and the vacuum cleaner and then all of a sudden it'd be like, psh. Oh yeah, sorry, the sun.
Yeah.
The baby's face.
Yeah.
And then it would go psh, and then do that weird TV thing.
It was like golf coursey. The grass was so like, the grass was so perfect. And like, is the word manicured? Or like when something's mowed and kept really well? Pristine. And then those little like speakers or like eyes or something would come out of the grass.
Oh yeah, that little like.
They would go come out of the grass. And then the baby would be laughing, or its mood would like determine what was going on the land. And then they had the fucking sickest house with the vacuum in it. They would slurp.
Yeah, it was.
They had tubby
They
toast.
just roll around.
I don't actually remember any, like why were the Teletubbies, like Teletubbies? Why were they? Like, what were they doing?
Idea. They just run around like and laugh.
I would I would watch an episode for shits and gigs just to, like, what the fuck was going on? What were they showing us as kids? Mm-hmm. You know, like, I can't.
Well, that play school episode where they were showing us how to make, what was it? And they showed us how to actually make a bong.
A bong?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
Like, there's an episode where I think they're making a boat or something, and it's a full-on bong. Like,
I mean, I believe you.
it was just, it's so weird. And if you go on YouTube and you see, like, you look up that, you'll find that video instantly. It's insane.
The play school was fucking cooked. They would have that pianist in the background. It was always like, dun, 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 dun. They were always just playing a riff for whatever was going on. You would have your two actors or one at a time, or however they did it, come in, do a little arts and crafts bit. There was another bit where they would play with teddies. Who was my favourite? What?
Actors.
Oh, dude, it's been too long. They
It
had
was
a
funny
midget.
as when they had the guy from Home and Away in it, and then he went into Home and Away. I don't know if he was doing a bit of both at the same time, but like, I was like, I know you. Like, you're from my childhood shows.
He probably had like the it factor. They probably wanted him on a couple of different
Aussie
programs. Yeah,
actor.
True.
Started off there and jumped on into Home and Away.
And it was probably at the time like a limited amount of Aussie stars they could cherry pick, you know, and we wouldn't be able to know. If we were little kids, we wouldn't have been like, that's the Home and Away guy. It was either one or the other.
Exactly.
I do remember, there were some good fucking play school episodes.
There was. I remember being excited about what window they'd pick.
Yep. Yeah.
No matter what, you'd still just go through
regardless,
to a
you
video.
would get the same bullshit video.
Yeah.
And I think they did a similar thing to Teletubbies, where they would be like, you want to watch it again? And it would re-zoom in and show you the same video again.
That's what we didn't bring up, like Elmo, like Sesame Street.
Yeah, the la 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 da la la Elmo's World. Yeah, Elmo's World, Mr. Noodle.
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact
No,
same
Mr.
thing.
Noodle.
Do you know what? I used to not like Mr. Noodle. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, Mr. Noodle, what are
He
you
was a
doing?
dipshit on
As a kid, I
purpose.
was even like, what are you doing, Mr. Noodle? Like,
Yeah.
what?
Because he needed your guidance as a kid, you know.
But even as a kid, I was like, I can't put up with this. Like, no, I just laughed at him. Like, what the fuck are you doing? What do you want me to do?
Mr. Noodle.
Like,
I remember Sesame Street's original intro, where it was like, it was so hip and old school. Like, it had the Statue of Liberty, like, dancing side to side. It had a little black kid shuffling, and then it had Big Bird, like, dancing around doing his thing. It was so retro. It was such an old school show.
Did they bring in that mammoth thing, or was that always there?
The mammoth?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I know who you're talking about.
Like, yeah, that furry fucking
Yeah,
thing.
I'm not sure, eh?
There was the garbage monster who was green.
There was Ernie
And
and,
then the
fucking...
cookie monster.
Who were the two gay dudes?
Ernie and Bernie, wasn't it?
Alleged gay dudes.
Wasn't it Ernie and Bernie?
Bernie and Ernie.
I thought they matched.
Yeah, no, one of them was clearly the chick in the relationship.
One of them wore the pants and one did not, and
one of them had the pussy, one of them had the dick.
yeah, I was like, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
I was like, you're more scared.
Dude, Oscar the Grouch was always just a fucking sick cunt.
Cookie Monster was alright too.
Yeah, Cookie Monster is a fucking classic.
Mm-hmm. What about High Five? Now I'm thinking of it. That was my child.
Dude, High Five was fucking shit to me.
I grew up with it as a child.
I grew up with kids that liked High Five, which I didn't like those people. So, but I grew up, I don't know, because I'm a little older than you. I grew up with Art Attack, and no one knows what I'm talking about when I say Art Attack. It's crazy.
Yeah.
That show was fucking bomb. It wasn't on the networks like Cheese TV, Toaster TV.
Yeah.
It was a thing of its own. It existed separate. Do you, and that's really all I have to say about Art Attack because it's hard to relate. Do you remember Backyard Science?
Yes. I used to always be like, Mom, can I get this, and this to try this?
That was my brother's generation TV shows. Totally Wild. Mm-hmm. With the puppet, that white cat puppet thing. And you remember all the puppets when we were kids growing up were always like, hey guys, today we're going to be like, they always had that same Aussie, like, we're going to be doing a science experiment today. It was literally like they hired the same dude for every sock puppet on a TV show. It was just that whiny Aussie high pitch, you know.
Yeah.
I'm a cat. It's like, no, you're not. Every single fucking show had a sort of...
What did you think of the Wiggles?
The Wiggles?
Yeah.
I love the Wiggles, man. That was my generation. I grew up with the Wiggles. Big Red Car, fruit salad. I had a Wiggles.
I feel bad that I can't even remember some of their names now.
All I know is
there
Jeff.
was Jeff the
sleeping cunt.
one.
Yeah, the one
That's
that was
what
always
I was going to say.
napping.
Is he the sleepy one?
Yeah.
Because I remember the sleepy one, the blue one who was still in it till recently, I think.
And the yellow one got a full-on heart condition. It was pretty brutal.
I remember
Captain Feathersword. There was another one. There was another entity.
the octopus.
The octopus?
Wasn't it the purple
Yeah,
octopus?
there was an octopus, but I think so.
Oh, the dinosaur.
It was a dinosaur?
Yeah,
yeah.
the dino?
So the Wiggles had a bunch of videos that came out like separate from the TV thing. I had them.
Yeah.
It was a really cool one which I would watch over and over again when I was younger. All I can remember from it was Abracadabra. It was a book that had no color in it. It was all like blank pages. And then they would like get a wand, abracadabra, and the pages would all be colored.
Oh, wow.
They used to blow my mind as a kid. I used to think that was the sickest shit. There was a knockoff of the Wiggles when I was little called the Holy Doolies. We are the Holy Doolies, and how are you? We are the Holy Doolies. Jemima, that bitch from Play School, she had her own spin-off show.
Wow.
Which I thought was really weird because my brother got that video. And it was like Jemima's house or hang out with Jemima. It might not have even been
Yeah, it
Jemima.
might have been just a...
It was one of the women from Play School, she was really popular. And she had like her house and, you know, the postman would knock on the door and they're like, hey, the postman's here. And there was clapping and he would come in and hand her letters. And I remember her like throwing letters behind her like bills. And it's like, this is a kid's show. Who the fuck knows what a bill is? We're still 20 years off knowing what a fucking bill is. Maybe a little bit.
Start us off early.
It's crazy some of the shit that we had access to as a kid to watch. It was all catered to us. And unfortunately these days, whether it be animation changes, as we were mentioning before with the Bananas in Pajamas and Bob the Builder, other shit, kids these days don't really get the authenticity that we got when we grew up.
No.
Kids shows were kids, like it was for us.
Mm-hmm.
They taught us things. They showed us shit.
Now they're just very babied and...
They're also the, ooh, what's that? It's a cricket.
It was on her mouth.
That's fucking
and it
hilarious.
woke her up.
Sorry about the interruption. There was a cricket on the floor. It looked like a spider.
Can I interrupt quickly again?
Yeah.
Man? A cool time that I had was when I was working in a cafe and I'd made a orange carrot juice thing for a lady, took it out there, and then a week later they were like, oh, did you not know that was a girl, like the lady from the Wiggles, the redhead one that was the first female to do the Wiggles? And
how the hell would you know?
I didn't. I thought everybody who did say something was joking, and then a week later I was like, wait, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. I was like, oh shit, I served a juice to, like, I made the juice and served it to her, and I was like, here you go, and walked back in, like, not even noticing her.
Yeah, but at the
dog partner outside, everything, and I was just like, back into work.
Wow. Yeah, interesting. So, what, how many years later? 20 years later? Yeah, it would have been hard to... How did they know?
I have no idea. But, yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It was nice. It was an interesting day.
Mum's told me, I can't back this up with my own...
eyes.
Yeah, exactly. But when I was little, I had a series of pediatricians, and apparently one of my pediatricians was the daughter from Round the Twist.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. The sister.
Oh.
Bronson's older sister.
Wow.
Yeah, which is fucking crazy, because I remember that chick.
So she went from acting to...
She went from acting to apparently working with children.
That's nice.
Yeah, and I believe Mum. I'm not going to not believe her. But that's pretty fucking wild. Such a small world.
I had a counsellor who apparently went to high school with the Veronicas up in Queensland.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
But you can't obviously prove it 100%.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, what? And then she's like, no, I'm like, seriously. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, well, like the amount of kids I went to school with that their cousin worked at Nintendo or their cousin worked at Microsoft is, yeah.
I'd hope a therapist wouldn't lie to me like that.
I was a therapist that said that. I'm sure she was telling you the truth.
I'd hope so. She knew I was into them as well. And she's like,
oh, maybe.
I went to school. Like, she was younger, so I was like, she could have.
She could have, but she also could have been trying to relate to you to get your guard down.
I didn't like her anyway.
Really? How many sessions did you do?
A couple with her, and then tried other people, and then I just started, like, just going to my sister's lady with her.
Yeah.
And just hanging out with them too, because I couldn't be bothered going and, doing my own session.
Hilarious.
And they all weren't great. My sister seemed to just have one that was, like, actually genuinely gave a shit about her.
Yeah.
It wasn't all to the book and nothing more, like, no trying to give a shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because some of them are like, you can tell some of them are disingenuous. I got provided with one just through the community centre when I was living over in Sunbury. And she, at the time, I had terrible social anxiety. I couldn't talk to save my life, with people I didn't know. I even struggled with people I did know at the time. Just being an utter recluse.
It's just hard.
It was. And she did not help me at all. She asked hardly any questions.
Yeah.
She sat there and sort of just, looked over at this mess that I was double backing on myself because it was so awkward because she wasn't asking follow-up questions. Yeah. She was writing things down in a notepad that I couldn't see.
And just listening to what you said.
Yeah, and I just began to spiral. And she didn't help me at all. So I had a really sour taste from the first session. The second session I went in like, I'm gonna try and make a bit more of an effort. And the same thing ended up happening.
Just have some shit therapists out there.
That was, and I specifically asked for a male therapist just because, easier to relate considering...
Yeah, and might be able to help in your own circumstances, which I get because I was the same. I asked for a female one.
Well, the excuse was that the male was sick, so here's the next best thing. But that was 2 times. He was sick both times. And I didn't really go back to therapy or a counsellor. That wasn't therapist. That was more of a counsellor until 2017. And the counsellor, that I went back to, male psychologist, I had a bunch of free sessions to see him.
Yeah.
He looked awfully familiar when he walked out of the office into the waiting area and called my name. I was trying to, put my finger on who it was in my life. I remember this person, and it dawned on me as I walked into the office when he sat down that it was a teacher that I gave absolute hell.
Oh, no.
In the first years of high school. I gaslit that motherfucker so hard. He had a mental breakdown in front of the principal, and I kept my cool at the time, even though it was bad. I threw a pine cone. We were walking as like a group of 6 people in a line back to class. The bell went off. He was walking up in front of us. I've artilleried a pine cone into the air, and for some reason when I was younger, I would do something stupid and it would instantly backfire.
Yeah. So
like, for example, I threw an apple, piffed it right in the air. It had to come down on a girl's head. Of all the places in the schoolyard that apple could have landed, in not a populated area of the schoolyard either, 2 girls walking together, boom, directly on her head. The same thing happened with this guy, this teacher. Piffed a pine cone in the air directly on his head. He spins around, starts going off at the bunch of us. He picks me out of the crowd, probably because, I had a face, like I was smirking or something was going on.
We couldn't always control our faces back then.
It was a trick shot. He drags me to the principal's office, and I played it so cool the whole time. I've had a lot of practice. I played it cool, but he didn't. He had a mental breakdown, and I thought, and years later when I went into his office, he's now a male behavioral psychologist or whatever his fucking title was, similar to that. I thought if anyone's going to have one over me, it's going to be the guy that never got to get his revenge on me. Mm-hmm. And now I'm coming to him with issues. It's almost like the perfect scenario for him. So I had one session with him, and in the back of he also said to me a quarter way through the session, I remember you. And I was like, this is the first and the last time that we're ever going to be meeting.
That's so awkward.
It was awkward.
He should have been a bit more professional about it too. Like, no matter what happened in the past, like, if you're going to be a behavioural person, you got to understand that even the kids who tortured the fuck out of you also need some help. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't write them off like that at all. Mm-hmm. That's not fair on any of them.
He didn't particularly write me off, but I could tell that his demeanour, as soon as he remembered who I was, his demeanour completely took a right turn. He was like, he probably remembered the mental breakdown because it was in front of a bunch of people. It was in a professional setting. He went off at me in the foyer of where the office is in the school. So you've got the office ladies, you've got the sick bay, it's a big sort of intersection where there's, principals. Mates. And he just cut sick on me in front of the big principal in a school. And because of that, the principal's gone, this was a colleague of mine, what has this kid done to bring this man to this state? Turns out it was a pine cone that I never admitted to doing.
Yeah.
I sat there and just, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea. But at that point, it was my last legs at that school. The teachers knew what I was up to. The teachers knew what my game was. they knew that I was, pretty terrible student. But see, around that time, there was TV shows at home. Dragon Ball Z was still happening. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX was big.
Yeah, they kept upgrading and putting some extra words.
Yeah, and Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, I remember, they actually started Yu-Gi-Oh! GX from the beginning on Toaster TV.
Yeah.
It was fucking sick. There was different dormitories. They split sort of crews up into different, it was like red, gold, and blue or something like that.
Mm.
The original Yu-Gi-Ohs, they didn't have the arm. There was like this thing that cunts would put on their arm with all their cards.
Yeah, and then they can go, psh.
Yeah, like this contraption.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like new Yu-Gi-Oh shit. I had my own Yu-Gi-Oh deck, so did a bunch of other kids at the school. I gave up Yu-Gi-Oh going to I had a lunchtime detention and an after-school detention, and I think I was just trying to put my Yu-Gi-Oh deck in my pocket, and it popped. All my cards went on the floor, and there were year 11 and 12s in there that just roasted the living fuck out of me while I'm collecting my cards off the floor.
Ugh.
And I was like, God damn, I'm not going to progress in this life if I keep being held back by material things like this. It was an existential crisis, dude. I think I gave up on Yu-Gi-Oh! Not long after that.
It sucks that people will go to that point of just embarrassing you for something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny about it.
But
everyone has their own thing.
Yeah.
And nobody would like to be judged for what they do.
But you remember school. It was ruthless.
Fucking oath.
Ruthless.
Yeah.
Kids didn't give a fuck, including myself. There were many times at school that you would bully somebody just for the music they listened to or the clothes they wore or the hairstyle they had or how they talked.
People.
Yeah, well.
I just got bullied.
You were the recipient?
Picked on, teased.
Oh, there were times where I got bullied hectic.
Having a twin helped, though.
Yep, you had somebody at the school that could help you out.
Yeah, but then they started putting us in different classes, so, when break will come, I'd just go hang out with her and tell her, this person doesn't like me.
Yeah.
And then she'd be like, I'll keep an eye on him.
Okay. Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there was this one time I was freaked out and I didn't want to go to school for a week and I cried every day because this huge, not trying to be horrible, this
huge, fat,
very big lady, girl the same age as me, just tall, very wide. She was freckled all over and just, she was a scary human. She was like Miss Trunchbull, but kid version.
Okay.
And
the early years.
Oh my fucking God. I was so scared of her. I still remember her name, but I will not put that in.
Don't, yeah.
But I remember going to my sister, this girl's going to kill me. I'm scared for my life.
And you did nothing to her.
Yeah.
She just lined you up in her sights and that was it.
I was somebody who'd just look over at people and be curious and then they'd be like, what are you looking at? And I'm like,
yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, you're a kid.
Yeah.
Curiosity.
But people would just be like, you're weird or, I was pretty gullible and they'd pick on that or not being able to have certain clothes or certain food or,
What was your, financial status like growing up as a kid? Did you have a lot of money or not? Or
we always had a nice house. We always got fed. We always had food. But, I know Mum obviously took it a lot because it was hard to bring up two kids at the same time and, enroll us in schools and make sure we're fed and stuff. I know that when we were very young, Mum struggled, but then we, got a bit better.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was all right. And then, obviously, moving back to Victoria was a lot.
Yeah. Just the change?
Yeah. The environments, everything that happened back then.
All your friends gone?
Yeah, but then also, the situations of life and things that go on completely changed it. And, since then we were living pretty rough. Living in houses where we would just do off-the-market deal kind of things and knowing that the houses are falling apart or not healthy for us to live in, but not being able to afford other spots.
Having no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, in between that, we were living in the caravan out the front of my grandma and pop's house, and before that it was a tent.
Right.
Going through winter, like, after Black Friday.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. We, moved back down to Victoria, and we were living in a tent for months.
Fucking shithouse.
Mm-hmm. And we'd just go inside, like, we'd be inside a bit, but, we'd have to go into a toilet and whatnot.
What age were you at this point in time?
They're like 12.
Wow.
13.
Okay.
So we were we were still pretty young, but knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Spo was born. He was little, so it would have been like 12, 13,
Jesus.
Yeah. It took a while before we moved into a house because obviously we felt crap and there wasn't much for people to go to due to the fires.
Especially where you were living too.
Yeah.
You were living in areas that were devastated.
I think it was just a condemned house and we fixed it up and that's why we were able to even move into it.
Right.
Like, walking through that door, we never seen it, but we were told that the roof was already halfway dropped down. They fixed so much of that house before we even moved in.
Yeah.
And I think we pay a bit cheaper rent, but we'd have to make sure everything was up to date.
Yeah, well, now you know the reason why. It's because of the... they were hiding it from the person that actually owned the house.
Yes.
The supposed landlords
who didn't really
actually
know that it was being used.
That's fucking crazy.
And all of their stuff that had once been in it was taken out even before we moved in there. Like, my uncle had actually moved into that years before we did.
Well, at least you're not liable for where that shit went.
Yeah, because that wasn't even there back then, I don't think.
That's crazy.
They were doing it for so long.
Yeah.
Big chunko, like, wog-like people.
Yeah.
Just come on in or...
Oh, macho.
Have a look around and then leave.
Yeah.
It was horrible times.
Sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Well, glad you're in a better time now.
Definitely now.
Reminiscing on the past and the...
Still feel bad for some of the family, but...
Yeah.
I have to think of me and moving myself forward too.
Absolutely. Yep. Because at the end of the day, you've all you've really got.
Exactly. And I can have trust in everybody else and, faith that they care, but at the end of the day, they can't help me live my life like I need to do that.
Yeah, well, they can't help you make the decisions that are fundamentally yours and yours only.
Mm-hmm. It took a while. You never knew the path that you needed to take in life to live a stable life was getting a job.
Yeah.
Like, that was never a thing I was forced to do. I guess it's harder when you don't have a dad in the picture.
Yeah.
As well. It gets a bit easier to be like, well, I'm not working. And then just get onto Centrelink and whatnot.
Yeah. And live life that way.
But yes. Then it's hard when your dad's still around, but not around.
Not active, absent, neglectful.
It's a bit different. It hits differently to, other people's situations.
You get to a certain point in your life, though, where, your parents are around. They haven't made the effort. Why should you?
Exactly. Which is hard that you have to put in that, you have to be like, well, I have to cut this person off who brought me into the world kind of thing.
Yep.
Like, chose for that long to be a, father figure and then did for a few years when I was little and then it got boring.
Decided.
Because he found someone else.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Shitty behaviour.
It is.
From somebody who,
Yeah.
had a responsibility, had 2 daughters, gave up, left.
Never tried.
And still, to this day, has not made
No.
an effort whatsoever to reconnect.
But goes and sees family about an hour away.
Yeah.
Lives in Cairns.
Yeah.
And travels so far. Like, it's not easy or quick to come down here. And won't go that extra mile. So it's easier to cut some people off.
Yeah, a lot easier than others. That's for sure. Immediate family is very difficult to, emotionally detach from. Very difficult, especially when you. Oh, fucking A. Don't we all?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But I guess with the situation with your father, it's a little easier because that person sort of voluntarily decided that they want nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
And your sister, not personally you.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, when you see it from an adult point of view, which you are now,
Yeah.
it is probably for the best.
It is sad, though, like, knowing that you only remember one time seeing them kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because everything else is just a blur of pictures. Like, I've got heaps of photo albums with me going up and spending time swimming and, like, certain outfits we get going up there. Even going to a wedding, like his second marriage. Don't remember any of it.
And you were there.
I only remember seeing him when I was, about 12.
God damn.
And I was, hard. Because I didn't really know who he was, so I was uncomfortable. And due to, obviously...
Your own blood father.
Yeah, past history with...
Side-eyeing them. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know you very well.
Already being uncomfortable with men anyway, due to past history.
Yeah.
I was even more like, this is weird. Like,
you are a stranger.
Who are you? Don't tell me what I can do. Like,
Yeah.
I've had a mum my whole life, and it's a bit weird.
Yeah, don't dictate anything
Having a man
to me.
here to be like, oh, you can't go outside. Oh, but
Yeah, what are you... Who the fuck are you? Yeah, holy shit.
And then forcing us to be up there with fans only. No air cons. Come from Victoria to Cairns.
Yeah.
No fucking thank you. I would like an aircon.
I've never been. Is Cairns hotter than Surfers?
As soon as you walk outside, picture that times 10. Imagine you get to the airport and you go through those doors like that connect the plane to the airport and you get swamped with so much humidity you think you're in a heated place, and then you walk outside and the wind's blowing the heat at you in thick gusts and you're like, oh fuck. Like,
yeah, I'll get the next ticket back to Victoria.
Even as a kid I was like, I can't deal with this for like 2 weeks. Like, this is disgusting.
How
How am I
on
supposed to survive? And then, going to the house, I was like, no fucking aircon, fans.
Yeah.
Is it? Like,
serious? Yeah.
What are you doing? There's no pool, there's nothing.
God damn. I do remember going up to Queensland when I was like 13 to see my cousin up there.
What part?
Esk. So I'm not sure where Esk is. We did drive past Brisbane. So...
Before Bundaberg.
I couldn't tell you, but it was inland. It was inwards. It was like a country town, but up there, you know, bit rural. Type Esk, actually. Let's see where it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's lovely. The beach side of ESK.
ESK. Where is it?
I'm gonna have a look.
Because it was rural. It was bushy.
Good.
And it was like, there was one pub in town. It wasn't that populated. Let's have a look.
Oh, wow.
How many people live there?
Places. I can't tell you that, but can you see Esk?
Esk, Redcliffe, Brisbane. Yeah.
So you're more in. I probably would have gone through like Toowoomba and all those areas to get to Bundaberg.
We went to Redcliffe when we were up there. So we weren't that far away from Brisbane. Interesting. Yeah, I've never actually looked up where it is. That's where my cousins live.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
Which
I don't have to...
far from me, like from where my family live.
Oh, damn.
See?
Where? Bundaberg. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Well, that's fucking sick.
You're next to Brisbane.
Yeah. Well, we're at an hour now. Wow. So I reckon that's it for the episode. We've covered some stuff. We've talked some shit. Found out a little about you that I didn't know, which is sick.
Same to you. And then remembering some episodes and shows from the past.
Yeah. Oh, we still have so much. We could have another 2-hour conversation about just the TV shows that we watched and, reminisced on.
Or just about some of the good shows out now.
There are, but, they are lacking in the sort of substance and quality, the charm.
Exactly. But there's lots we can do.
Well, we'll do another episode in the future. and we can cover some of that and many other things. Thank you for being on this episode of the Finny D Show.
That is all good.
It was great to have you and great to have a conversation. And
thank you for having me.
No worries at all. Thanks for listening, guys. If you're interested in the Finny D Show, please subscribe. Please follow me and look forward to the next episode, which will be coming out very soon. Have a good one, guys.
Hey. He back. Finny D. Yeah. I took off a distant mile, moved my sickness wild. This time I got a